If I had $1,000,000 appear in my bank account tomorrow, here's what I would do. Comic book edition. The obvious answer is first thing I would do is pay off the parents' mortgage and then buy a house. But since this is completely pretend, let's assume you get $1,000,000 to spend for comic book reasons. You know what I'm going to ask? Drop it in the comments down below. What are you doing? You get $1,000,000 to spend on comics tomorrow. Don't forget, 40,000 subscribers, someone's going to get Miles, Gwen, or Laura, your choice to one lucky winner. All right, so believe it or not, the first thing I would do is if I had $1,000,000, I would get a massive graphic novel library. And I would actually make sure it is accessible to the public and everything. So you can kind of see some of it right here. I have a little bit of the Gem Mint thing going on. I say Gem Mint because he's one of the reasons I started the YouTube channel in the first place. He's got such an amazing spread of books all the way throughout his basement. But this is kind of the collection of basically every comic thing that's been released. Absolute omnibus. I want it all. The super complete, perfect, fully accounted for comic graphic novel collection. Sounds amazing, but honestly, you almost need $1,000,000. There is so much of it that's been released. Shout out to Near Mint Condition, who has what I imagine to be, probably has to be the best collection around. The next thing I would do is hire a helper or two. I am long past the point where this should still be a one-man operation. It is a labor of love, to say the least. Everything I'm juggling between YouTube, editing, the comic book shop, buying collections, and so much more is at least 80 to 100-hour work week. It's extreme. So hiring and training someone to help me, and I'm really talking like a 40-hour work week, but frankly, I don't really know how self-employed businesses do it, because as it stands, if I were to hire a full-time employee with benefits and everything, that's all the profit. I would no longer be profiting. I really don't know how it's done. You kind of need $1,000,000 to be able to do it, it seems. So maybe one day, but for right now, I need $1,000,000. Next is I would finally buy that complete Sonic collection that's been sitting on eBay. There is a full run of the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie series selling on eBay. It's not even all near mint, too. It's just the full run. And I think it's a tad overpriced. It's $15,000, but when you really break it down, it's not that far off. Obviously, I have a wife, I have a kid. I'm not dropping 15 grand on a full run of Sonic, but it would certainly end years and years and years of trying to hunt that collection down. Surprisingly, there's not much on this list for the personal collection, but that is definitely the first thing I'm buying. It's funny, you could get $1,000,000 and buy way more expensive things, and that's the first thing I want. It's true, though. The next thing I would do is I would pay Kelly Jones himself to complete an entire Batman Nightfall through Knight's Quest through Knight's End mural. The 90s Batman Nightfall run is what started everything for me. It's my favorite ever, and I would start it with all the villains, everything incorporated, telling the whole story of Batman getting beaten by Bane and Jean-Paul Valley coming, and then him beating Bane, and then Batman finally beating Jean-Paul Valley in the end. That whole storyline I would get painted onto a mural by Kelly Jones himself. Lord knows what something like that would cost, but if I had $1,000,000, I would probably send Kelly Jones an email and see if he'd be up to the task. The next, I would use that money and leverage to write and pitch a Captain Carrot miniseries to DC Comics. I actually already have a half-finished script. It's pretty good if you were to ask me. It's pretty cool. It's pretty funny. And to say that I contributed in that way to DC would be a dream come true. I don't even know if $1,000,000 is good enough, though, for that, because it still has to be high quality. They don't just take fan fiction from anyone and make it happen. But you know what? Maybe $1,000,000 would help. Okay, next is build a temperature-controlled shed with unloading access. So I have a storage problem. I got my house, my parents' basement. I'm down to one storage unit, so that's good. The antique shop, and my father-in-law's house, even a bit. Fully loaded to the gills with comic books. So obviously, I need to get this stuff on my own property. I do need to get some sort of temperature-controlled shed or easy accessible basement, something that I can like unload immediately to for the business. Not an easy feat by any means, and I'm sure that would be wildly expensive, especially for the fact that it would have to be temperature and humidity controlled. But that unloading access, that is what I need so bad. Right now, I live in a townhome in a city, and I have to just lug all these long boxes in and out of my tiny house all the time. And it's just so cumbersome, and there's so much extra weight on my back, and so much that could be solved by having a temperature-controlled shed with unloading access. Next would definitely be a new studio space with like real professional camera equipment, better microphone equipment. Fun fact, I have not mastered microphones. I have looked for years into microphones. I've gotten certain lavalier mics. I've done everything I've got in this room. I've soundproofed the whole room. It's been better over the years, but it's still far from perfect. And I honestly don't know what to do. So I need help getting the microphone figured out. I would get an all new studio space, probably new background and everything, maybe another chair so I could do like interview style videos. Again, this is all if I had $1 million. So I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Sorry guys, you're going to have to keep watching video recording it on the new iPhone. That's the best I can do for you for the moment. Second to last is the only massive grail. And after all this stuff that I've dropped the money on in this hypothetical situation, I don't even know if there's enough money left for it, but I would try to swing for Detective Comics 27. All I need is one where you can actually see the cover and it presents okay. I don't need an amazing presenting one. I'm talking like I would be more than happy with like a particularly good 1.5. Unfortunately, the market for Detective Comics 27 is insane. Like some of these on this list, I don't even know if $1 million would do it. But if it did, I would be there. Obviously, you guys probably know Batman is everything. So that would be the ultimate grail. And the last thing is if I got $1 million and I was able to do everything on this list, I would take more time for the family. As it stands, I'm up at 5 or 6, helping with the baby, and it immediately goes into work mode. And I typically don't stop until 12, 1, or sometimes even 2 in the morning. I am literally working around the clock. I love it. I do it to myself, but I really need more time with the family. I want to feel secure financially to do that. So once I have that sort of feeling of I'm okay, I could maybe ease up and spend some more time with the family a bit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like a deadbeat, I'm never around my family. That's not what I'm saying. I make the time when I can, but I would make way more time is what I'm saying. That is, after all, the most important thing, even more than Batman. All right, guys, if you had $1 million show up in your account tomorrow, what are you doing? As always, keep on hunting, and I'll see you at the next video. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.